All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Let me see. I don't even know where to jump in and start because I'm so excited today. I have my daughter on the platform with me. We are into the mother daughter series. And we've been having a great time. The mothers and daughters that have been on the platform and those to come are waiting in the wings to come. And so we thank you, Pache, for being here with us. And we just had our first guest chimed in, Yona. Hi, Yona. Say hi to Yona.
Hey, Yoni.
Yes, yes, yeah. Family is in the house, and we're excited today about chatting with Pache, Coach Pache. Now, I'm going to just let you guys know I might slip up in the broadcast and call her Coco because you already know she's my daughter. And so I might do a slip up, but I will try to keep it Coach Pache. And so we want to just chat today. Let me turn down. You know what we have to do before we do anything. I think you already know. I think you already know. Oh my goodness. You know, these phones, you time them and then they just do what they want to do. But we're going to give ourselves a bravo. Put your hand on your heart, your mind, your soul, and give yourself a bravo. Oh my goodness. Give yourself a bravo. Just because just because, and you do not need permission. You need nobody's permission. We're doing a double up bravo tonight. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about tonight. I'm so excited about this conversation. It's been waiting a while just to chat. It is a blessing to have Pache on the platform with me. Tonight, we are talking about forgiveness, the power of forgiveness. Let me put that banner up so everyone that comes in can see that the spotlight is on my daughter, Coach Pache Felton. Yes, yes, and yes. And I would love to say that we are here to talk about a topic that is so important, not just to the body of Christ, but to the world at large. Whether you're a believer, you're a non-believer, if you're walking, if you're alive and you're human, you need to understand the power of forgiveness. And we know and understand that that topic is not an easy place. That thing, forgiveness, is not an easy place to walk through, but we can get through it. And tonight, Pache is going to be leading us in the conversations. I want you to send us some words and comments in the chat. Yona, I want you to put your hands on that keyboard and send us some comments while we're talking about this. And that way we'll be a participation because this is a chat. This is not just me talking to you out there. This is a chat. So those comments, I want them on fire. I want them moving and grooving. I want your fingers to touch the keys. So before we go any further, I like to just give you a backdrop about Pache. Pache is the CEO of My Insight Coaching, co-founder of Harlem Girls, Inc., an author, an adjunct professor, director, and empowerment specialist for EMS Methods Incorporated, a nonprofit organization which serves communities and individuals who are in need. Did you hear me? I said who are in need. She holds an MS in organizational leadership, an MA in curriculum and instructions, and a BA in psychology. Talking about my daughter. Anyway, let me go on. She believes everyone deserves an opportunity and is given the proper tools, transformation can begin. If you give the tools, transformation can begin. That is so powerful. So throughout the years, Pache has volunteered and donated to different nonprofit organizations. She has volunteered at Kips Bay Family Shelter and Gobble, New York City, to help serve on Thanksgiving Day. She gives back. She gives back. Pache has donated educational books to ECDO, Forever Harlem Childhood Educational Program, made birthday wishes come true, and contributed to New York Cares Winter Wish. Oh yeah, she give out them coats now. She gives out some winter coats. There don't be no crappy coats either. You know, she's a stylish girl, so she give out stylish coats to the kids and to the mamas. Okay, by making 20 wishes come true for 20 young children and teens. That's what she does, and that's her heartbeat. And so once again, we say welcome, welcome, bravo, 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 bravo to Coach Pache. So we want to jump right into this. We want to really get into it. Tonight, again, this is the Mother-Daughter series, and we're talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness. I want you to hit like, I want you to share, and please subscribe. But don't forget to hit that little bell up there. That little bell is what notifies you when I'm going live. When you hit the bell, make sure it's not on personalized. Make sure it is there, lit up, so that when I go live, you will get a notice. Listen, let's jump into this, Pache. Let's jump into this chat, this conversation. Okay. I want you to start out telling, I did read your formal bio and the credits and everything that you've done. As I'm reading that, can you take me back before you got all of those things in place? Take us back and tell us where you're from, where you were raised, and how you segued into this place before we get into our topic on forgiveness.
Okay, you don't know where I was born and raised? No. Okay. Okay, I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. Mm-hmm. I can say I didn't go to the best schools. I went to one of the worst junior high schools.
Now, wait a minute. I had you in a good school. You just didn't like those schools.
No,
I had you in the dancing school. I had
you going back to 10 years.
Whatever, you went there. Anyway, go ahead.
I wasn't going that far back to ballet and all that.
All right. Well, you got to let the people know I did choose some good schools now. Anyway, fast forward. Go ahead.
Fast forward. So I can say, when you're born and raised in a culture or an environment that's not geared towards helping minorities, you kind of fall in that pattern.
Okay.
Or in that cycle. Yeah. So I did go to a junior high school in Harlem. I graduated from there. I left in the 8th grade and wanted to go to high school in the 9th grade, which then I went to Park West High School. Mm-hmm. Those two were pretty much parallel within the behavior, in the culture and the environment. Yeah. So fighting through that was a challenge, mm-hmm. but the foundation was planted from my grandmother. Mm-hmm. As you know, she was the backbone for all of us.
Yes, correct.
It's those things that's planted in you. When somebody plants the seed and it's watered, you don't forget it. You kind of stray away.
Right.
There's always something on the inside of you that pulls you back.
Right.
So once I became a single mom, I realized that I had to do something better for my child.
Okay.
The life I had is not the life I wanted for her. Mm-hmm. So then I went back to school after being a high school dropout.
Mm-hmm. You sure did. You went back to school.
Yeah, to get my BA.
Yeah.
And then to get my master's and then go back and get another one.
Yes.
And I always
you were on a roll back then. At that point, that season of your life, you were on a serious, like you were focused, you were on a roll, you saw your goal in sight, and you just went for it.
Because here's the thing, when you have a child or children, I can't speak for everybody. For me, I wanted to show her something different. A lot of times kids get asked, who's your role model?
Right.
So I wanted to create an atmosphere within our household where she saw me move from this person of being on welfare and not doing anything.
Right.
To say, okay, I can change the narrative of my life. No matter what it looks like, no matter where you started at. Yeah. You always have control to change the narrative of your life.
I agree with that. And then I also understand that circumstances and situations, like you have to live the hand and play the hand that you're dealt. Absolutely. And I know that, what you did was commendable, and it still is, but everyone is not wired with that on the mechanism on the inside, or they don't have a support system, or they didn't have a role model, or they didn't have a grandmother. And so them being kind of lost in the sauce, for a lack of a better term, sometimes take them longer to get to that place called there. And sometimes they never make it there. So I think it's important what you're saying is if your daughter, your son can prompt you, and that could be the prompting to get you to get yourself together, then I think that's a good thing, right? But there's so many in the hood, as they say, the hood, that are still stuck because they didn't have that push, or they don't even know who they are on the inside. But because you said something important, the seeds that were planted, you said, no matter how much you stray away, you come back to it. That thing is alive on the inside. Speak to that.
Yeah, it's something that sticks with you. I think, I won't speak for others, I can say for me, even when I was out doing things I had no business doing, there's always that conviction.
Even before you knew the Lord?
Even before.
Uh-huh.
Because you can equate that to peer pressure and wanting to fit in.
Okay.
Wanting to be an outcast. So let me do what my peers are doing. Right. So I can fit in and I can have so-called fun.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. In that group and be in the in group and be in the in crowd.
Right.
But deep down on the inside is like, okay, I really don't want to do this, but what will I do?
Right.
And I think a big part is people, well, I could say for me, I won't talk for others. You have to find a purpose. I had to find my purpose. My purpose and my
motivation. You had to tap into your purpose.
Right. And also focus on my motivation. What motivated me to go back to school?
Right.
My motivation was my daughter. My motivation now still is my daughter. Even though she's 30, she's always going to be my motivation.
Yes.
And I think if people keep that in the forefront.
That you need something to motivate you.
Right. What you're doing it for.
Yeah.
You're doing it for yourself.
Yeah. That is so powerful because the motivation piece actually is the piece that saved you. What motivate that you found that thing that no matter how upset your life was, your daughter was the motivating factor. That's like almost equivalent to give yourself a bravo, right? Because why? Because you deserve it. Not because I can weigh what you did right or did wrong, because you survived something. You're on your way somewhere. So the encouragement and the motivation, I think we all need. That is so important, what you just said. The motivator. What is the motivating factor that you need to get you to that next place?
We all, everyone needs something to drive them.
Yes.
We need that. If it even takes doing a vision board, putting something in your face.
Yes.
Writing affirmations to yourself.
Yes.
Telling yourself that you're worth it, no matter what you've been through.
Yes.
You have to know that you're worth it. And even going back, saying that you have to know that you're worth it, that comes with self-awareness. It's so vast. It's not something you can just put in a crock pot and say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's so much that needs to go into that. It's just like making a cake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just saying, I'm a foodie. I have an inner fat girl. She loves to eat. So a lot of analogies.
No, you funny. I know. And when you said crock pot, it reminded me of your grandmother, because you'll see on YouTube last month, the Lord gave me a message and it said, help, I'm in a pressure cooker. And I opened up the conversation talking about how your grandmother used to go and buy the beef stew and put the beef stew in the crock pot and go to work and come back, and the meat was so tender.
But even to that, when you cook in the crock pot, guess what? It has to simmer.
That's the point I'm saying. Yes.
Like, put it in and it's just done. It takes a minute.
She went to work and came back.
Exactly.
Right.
It takes time.
And it was so good at the end of the day. But so same thing with God with us. When we're in that pressure cooker, right? You got to go through what you got to go through. So that was funny when you said crock pot, went straight to your grandmother, and I had to share that with you. Go ahead.
I mean, if you compare it to life, even like I said, with making a cake, if you look at the ingredients of cake, you're like, how in the world is this going to taste good?
Right.
So it's just messy like our lives. There's all these different components, all this stuff going on.
Yes.
When it comes out, it's beautiful.
Yes.
When you taste that cake, you
got to run from it.
You like, just let me get a slither. Then you go back.
Yeah, you got to run from it because it will put something on you.
besides the pounds. So it's the same analogy with life.
Yeah.
Life is messy.
Yeah.
Life
Absolutely.
is
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. So come on, keep on talking about. So now you're out of college, you got your degrees, and keep moving with us.
Oh yeah, I'm out of college. I have my degrees. I've been at NYP for 20 years now, New York Presbyterian Hospital. Even being there for 20 years, I've been in 5 different positions.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I like to learn. Once I learn something, I need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for anybody. If you get your foot, it may not be where you want to be, but get your foot in the door
Mm-hmm.
and you work it.
Yes.
Work life.
Yes.
Don't let life work you.
Yes, absolutely. But again, that takes courage. It takes a level of healing. It's a lot.
It also takes doubting yourself, talking negative about yourself.
Yes.
And it goes back to what I said before, self-awareness. You have to know who you are and whom you are.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you don't know who you are, you're at a loss.
So, okay, so here we have you. Did you have to forgive yourself for certain things that you did when you were young? Did you have to really sit with yourself from some of the things you might have felt you didn't do right?
Absolutely.
So talk about that, because we're talking about forgiveness.
Yeah, I actually wrote in one of our books, the first book, Moving Forward from Broken to Beautiful, I spoke about how hard it is to look in the mirror and see how jacked up you are. Nobody wants to look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, because it's easy to say it's something wrong with that person, that person, that person, but it can't always be everybody else.
Yeah, you got to turn the finger on yourself.
Not only that, a relationship takes reciprocity.
Right.
So it's never one-sided. So
yeah, but what you're talking about, no, it's not. But at the same token, there's different steps that you have to take, most people, before they get to the point you're talking about. Because if you don't, like you said, you got to stop pointing the finger out. You must turn, because when nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you don't point your finger on you first, that means you excuse yourself.
Absolutely. So that's why I said the first part was looking in the mirror.
Right.
Saying, oh, wow. Okay. You have an attitude problem. You're unforgiving.
Oh, so you had to size yourself up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you size yourself up, but then you can't justify why you're that way.
Oh, that's good. Because that means if you justify, you're making an excuse.
And you will never begin the healing process.
That's powerful. That's powerful right there.
So you have to confront you. The biggest enemy is you in the mirror.
That's right.
I tell everybody that I don't have time to worry about everybody else's issue. I'm battling with me.
Right.
Even still. It's an ongoing process.
Yes.
To evolve and become a better you.
Yes. So the level of forgiveness that before you even get to situations in life where you're forgiving someone else, because that's a whole nother layer of forgiveness.
Oh, you have to forgive yourself.
Forgiveness for yourself is a difficult thing, because even, in doing things, and God forgives us as soon as we repent. But the problem is not women, but we're talking to women. People don't forgive themselves, right? They hold on to the pain. They hold on to the guilt. That's the mind thing. But that layer of forgiveness is one aspect. But then you segue and you're talking about how you had to forgive yourself. But I like how you said you got to be honest with yourself. You got to deal with yourself. And you can't make excuses while you're saying, I did it, but, well.
That's like apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, but. If you're apologizing, there's no but.
You know who says that a lot? Your sister, your younger sister. And you know how she is. You could have a conversation with her and we'll be talking and she'll say, hello, everybody. Say something to us in the chats. I see we got some visitors here. This is a chat. This is not a teaching. This is not about me. It's about me, you, Pache, and all of you in the chat. Say something in the chat. Put a chat. Say hello. Matter of fact, I'll just put Yona's hello. How about I'll start out with Yona? Yona says hello. Yona's on the screen. She says, hello, my vivid life. There's my girl. Hi, my vivid life, Kelly. How are you? This is Pache, my daughter. And yes, let's see what my vivid life has to say. She says, hello, lovely Sheila and your beautiful daughter. All right, that's my girl. That is my girl. All right, go on.
I want to back up a little bit.
Okay.
With the forgiving yourself.
Okay.
And part of that, for me, I can say, and for listeners, is when you want to forgive yourself, one thing I had to come to realize is I made mistakes. Yes, I did. However, I didn't have the proper tools.
Okay.
So you can't hold yourself accountable for something you didn't know.
Right. Or you didn't have. Right.
So here for me, I was holding myself hostage. Why did I do this? Why did I behave in this way? I didn't have the proper tools.
Right. I could relate to that. I could relate to that big time when I had you. Right. And it's awesome how we're relating and we're mother-daughter, and you're talking about my granddaughter, your daughter, and you're here with me. And you talked about how little Pache, thank you for naming her. I had to convince you, but thank you for giving her your name that I made up for you.
She's a juniorette.
Yes, she is. But the difference, and this is how life happens, right? That's why I thought this was so important to talk to other mothers and daughters, because everyone has dynamics in their relationship, right? Based on where they grew up, based on what kind of tools they had, right? Based on what kind of knowledge they had. And when I had you, I was so young and I was a widow so quick and abruptly. That offsets my emotional being clock on the inside, and it caused trauma inside of me, right? So not recognizing trauma, right? Because I'm still going on. I'm still finding something to do. I'm still moving. It was when I crashed and realized that, oh my God, this thing has affected me to the point I've neglected my children, right? I have, not been what I should have been, but at the same time, I didn't know how to be because I didn't have the tools. I didn't understand how to recover to be a widow at the age of 17. I didn't know, like you said, where to put that. So thus began the traumatic experience and the relationship with you and your sister. And so it's something that you're saying now that's so powerful. And I know this is going to bless somebody. Kelly says it can be heavy and smothering when you don't forgive and live your life in peace.
It's beyond smothering. You're literally dying. You're literally dying. Because here's the thing, that's not who God created you to be. If you don't, I tell everybody, I can have $1 in the bank, but please leave me my peace.
Exactly.
And I say that because I fought too hard to get it.
Yes.
Going back to what you were saying with regards to forgiving and my dad passing.
Yeah.
Growing up, I had to learn, one of the things I had to learn was to forgive myself.
Yes.
Because I thought it was my fault.
Yes.
He got murdered the day I was born.
Speak to that. How did you carry that?
I went through this whole process of, okay, so if I wasn't born, would he have lived?
Yes.
So that whole thing, that's something I had to forgive myself for. And even with that, not having a male figure, a role model,
absolutely,
show me how I'm supposed to be treated.
Yes.
Thus led to, I don't even know what to call those relationships, but
you said you don't know what to call those relationships, right?
You thank God for deliverance. You look back and be like, oh Lord, oh thank you. Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah. So with that, I had to learn to forgive myself.
That was deep. I mean, let's sit there for a second. Here you are, a young girl. When you were a kid, but a baby, of course, you had no clue until you started going to school. And I remember you would be upset when Father's Day, people in the class would make Father's Day cards. And all this time, see how I was saying to you just now, different worlds that we're in. Although we're in a world with our family, we still live in these separate worlds. Me sending you to school, I knew it was a challenge, but never did I know the degree of it. The fact that you had to walk through that, really, I call it walking it out in shoe leather. There's some things you just got to walk out in shoe leather in life. You can't get no help. Ain't no help over here, right? And
it's the good leather. It's tight. It's the good leather. It's tight.
It's the
You got to get a couple of wears before it stretch out. Yeah.
Yeah, that tight, good leather, not that nice buttery one. You got to get there was that tight shoe leather. You got to walk that thing out. And so now here we're saying as a young girl, this is when the seed of unforgiveness was planted. This is like what layer? Maybe the third, fourth layer, when you started realizing, and you kept hearing it. Oh yeah, her father died the day she was born, and da 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 da. I knew in my heart of hearts, I said, she's carrying this. How could she not? She think it's her fault. She's probably saying if she didn't go to the hospital that day to have me, then I mean, the enemy just had you going back and forth. So you had to really pull that layer off of you in time as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also remember.
Well, were you angry with me for having you on that day? Did it go both ways? Were you just angry the fact that, did you put all the blame on you that had I not gone to the hospital to have you, your dad would be alive? Or did you also let me share some of that blame?
No, I put it on me.
Put it on you. Okay.
Put it on me.
Kids do that. Yeah.
Because like I said, if it wasn't for me, which I know now you can't stop God's plan, but that's how it was supposed to be.
Right.
These are the cards that I was dealt.
Right.
And it's life.
Right.
It's my journey. It's a part of my story.
Right. Exactly.
So even within that, I had to learn to forgive myself for dating drug dealers.
Right.
Because I didn't have a male role model.
Right.
I didn't know that. I never experienced what do you call it? The daughter daddy dance, the first dance when you go to school.
Yeah.
I didn't know men were supposed to open the door and hold the car door for you. You know, our family is women dominated.
I was gonna say our family is top heavy with women.
It's nothing but women. So we're used to doing.
Yes.
Literally just doing. No, I got it. I have this thing.
Right.
So it's a lot of tools that I missed.
Yeah.
I didn't have an opportunity to learn.
Right.
So I had to learn it on my own.
Yeah. So you caught up that motivation, that piece that you said was very it was primary to where you are today, the motivation. Some people don't turn that around. They have a kid and they spiral down, right? Some people use it as a motivation and they spiral up. Every case is different.
Right. And it's crazy because I remember a couple of years ago, I think she was about 13. And she comes in the room and I'm just bawling. She's like, "Mom, what's the matter?" I said, "I wish I was a better mother." Because for me, I wanted to do more, but for her, mommy did everything.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, you're a great mom. You do this, you do that." But I wanted so much more for her.
Yes.
I didn't want her to see the state that I was in and who I was dating.
Yes.
And I didn't want her to think that was a way of life. And
yes.
Those things.
Yeah, my vivid life. Kelly says, I am also from a family of mostly women. So we do take on a lot of responsibilities along the way. She said, it's what we see. Powerful.
And it's crazy because, going to Boo, my boyfriend, heard it. One day we're coming out of the supermarket and I literally picked the bags up and he was like, "Give me the bags." I was like, "I got it." He said, "Give me the bag." I was like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to be carrying the bags. Oh, here you go."
Yeah.
So it took me a minute to realize.
Well, that comes from being a single parent, as well.
And not knowing what the male's role is in your life.
Especially and you were saying the males that you were dealing with, most of them don't have that character in them, right?
Because they weren't given the tools. So it's the blind dating the blind. Everybody just dumb together.
Right.
How's this going to work? Okay.
Yeah. So tell us more and tell the viewers, those that will see this later, as well as those that are coming in, chiming in now. My vivid life She is always here for me. She's the one who has trained me for this platform and taken time out to help me get along in these YouTube streets, I call it. These YouTubes is some streets. And so she has really helped me and continues to help me. So she's such a blessing, you know. And her channel, when you get the opportunity, you can go over to My Vivid Life and hit subscribe and share and like it. Her channel is, she has different things. She's a gun carrier. Kelly, you got to tell me what I'm supposed to say, how I'm supposed to describe that, a gun carrier. That doesn't sound too good. She is very familiar with firearms.
Licensed to tote.
She's licensed to what?
To tote.
Oh, she's licensed to tote. That's really cute. Yeah. She lives in Florida. She's with that. And she's going to be a black belt real soon. She just does a whole lot of things. And one of the things that her channel that she really pushes is divorce after 40, right? She divorced and she has women come to a platform and they share about their life and how they're living now. Let's see. Is she saying something? I'm looking at my phone. Okay, she put it in the chat because I got to get it in my head. I have to get it in my head. There it is. 40. Celebrating 40 and lifestyle and living my bucket list. Yes. See, I just chopped it up again, Kelly. Forgive me. So, Coco, you got to go over to her channel and subscribe. She has some wonderful, wonderful guests on. You would love the things that she does and that she's doing. And she is definitely chopping off her bucket list. She was making pottery the other day. She's went in the man's store and was making pottery, and she just do all kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, you need to check her out. So, carry on.
Okay. Yeah, that part was kind of rough, you know, with her, but I'm glad I did. In her eyes, I was being the best that I could be.
Yes.
Now, fast forward to our history, like you said, there was a point in time where there was a break in our relationship.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And me, like I said, being as unforgiving as I was, I won't speak to anybody. Because for me, I'm very loyal.
Right.
So I feel as though if you betray me, it's unwarranted because I'm also authentic and transparent. I would rather you say, Coco, go take a long walk off a short bridge. I know I can deal with that. Okay. So that's part of the unforgiveness comes in. But with respects to our relationship, as I got older, I had to realize what you went through. Mm-hmm. And understand your dynamics of the relationship and mine's. So what I'm saying is with forgiveness, you have to understand the other person's side.
And I'm glad you said that.
You have to put yourself in that person's shoes.
Yes.
Okay, what were they going through?
Right.
What happened that this happened?
Right. But you know what? You can't, and I guess it's difficult when it's a mother-daughter thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because you think your mother is supposed to...
The expectation of what the mother's supposed to be to you.
Right. So that's why it hurts more than anybody else.
Right.
You're my mother.
Right.
So, all right, I can deal with that.
Right.
But coming from you,
right,
I can't digest that.
Right.
Because you're supposed to know better. You're supposed to do better. You're supposed to this. But if you weren't given the tools or an opportunity, or even coming from your aspect of life, or traumatic experience, being 17, a widow with 2 kids, who back then with no therapy, who knows what to do with that?
Exactly. Your grandmother thought it was love that would cure me. And love had its place in that because, you know, she was the ultimate lover of us, right? But she said, nope, she doesn't need anything. I got her. All I got to do is love her. No, not enough. Not for that type of traumatic experience at that young age. And again, you said back then, you know, because our people have this, is different, a little different now about therapy and counseling, because people would say, I know where we grew up, oh, you crazy. They crazy. They go to the psychiatrist. So they created this whole thing where
tell us to Jesus. Jesus provided help too. Hello.
Wait, that's right. Tell it to the Lord. Tell it to Jesus. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that, but I need a little bit more, right? And so you said something a few minutes ago. You said that how did you phrase it? You were saying that you're loyal, and when someone does something to you, then okay, so I get that, but loyalty is a big word, right? So if someone does something to you, the loyalty is expected on both sides, right? So if someone breaches a relationship or breaches a friendship or whatever dynamic that you have been offended, right? I think now your perspective is a little different, because back then you would cut off, not talk, just shut down.
The light switch. I never saw you. I walked past you like I never saw you a day in my life. You do not exist.
Yes, and I used to say, I don't know where that comes from. My children didn't get that from me, because that is not me. Now, granted that sometimes you need a little sprinkle of that.
Absolutely.
You need a medium. You need a medium and a middle, with being able to sway this way and that way, and not all the way this way or all the way that way, right? Because people will hurt you. You cannot walk through life without being offended. You can't walk through life without being betrayed. These are the things that people will go through. But then when they get through it, or if they get through it, it's the forgiveness piece that takes sometimes so long to get to. I know people that are of age, my age, and something happened to them 40-something years ago. And to this day, they're sitting in it, stewing in it. And guess what? Their heart has become bitter. Their heart has become like a stone, because they got comfortable. Say it again.
I said, my God. I said, so they made unforgiveness
their life, their home. That's good. That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
So they made unforgiveness.
Don't let unforgiveness become your home.
That's crazy.
That's a t-shirt. So I'm saying that to say that people forgiveness is something that's not an easy thing to walk through, right? But what do you do with it? How do you manage to get through it? Because like I said, I know people my age, and we know how old I'm going to be in a couple of weeks, right? Not in my mind, but in my number. Yes. And I know the bitterness. I told you about the course I teach, Purity with Purpose, and at the end of the road, lesson 12 or 13, these women stayed with me for 13 weeks, right? And I wish some of them were on. If they were, they probably would, in the chats, they would share. Let me see. I'm going to put up first, before I say that, what Kelly says. Most times I do believe that we learn to understand the other person's perspective when we become older. At least we hope so, because it does help heal us towards forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to, like I said, self-awareness and doing the work on yourself.
Doing the work.
A key component. If you have a relationship with God, that's all you need.
Yes, but go ahead. No, you go.
I had to realize, first of all, in that unforgiveness, that person ain't thinking about you. So them people, your friends that's been sitting there for 40-something, the people that so-called offended them, first of all, they probably don't even remember what happened.
Right.
They're going on with their life.
Yeah.
Married, kids, houses, whatever the case may be. And here you are held hostage to your past for something that's happened 40 years ago.
But you said the key word, hostage. Forgiveness will hold you hostage.
Absolutely. So
and yes,
my key was the conviction of God.
Okay.
And I had to realize, okay, if God can forgive you on a daily basis with your crazy behind, who are you not to extend that to somebody else? Because only if we sit back and think about, if God gives us what our sins deserve,
yes,
baby,
absolutely,
baby.
But again, we're talking about forgiveness, right? You know, forgiveness is something that is so, because remember, we're emotional beings. And so when someone offends us or disappoints us, or someone close to you betrays you that you never thought would betray you, and you've given them your life, every situation, like I said, there's layers of pain and hurt. And as I was mentioning to you, that program that I taught, Purity with Purpose, in week 13 was the end, no, 12. Then we go to, I would find a fireplace, right? And each woman, it's amazing. It's amazing to me how women walk around so wounded and so broke down on the inside, but we still function because we wear so many hats in a day. We have to be the mother, the father, the CEO, the nurse, the doctor, the laundry girl, the cook, and all in one day, right? I can go on and on. So when you as a woman have to play all those roles, the woman in you gets buried on the end. You just go down dormant because everything else is more important than you. And so the pain that you've gone through and everything, you just sweep it and just keep functioning. But really, you're hostage to yourself. And what I'll never forget, when I was in Curacao, and they didn't have a fireplace, so I said, well, make a fire in a can or something. So they made a big fire, and each woman was coming to burn the past hurt, the past, whoever said something, did something, whatever negative words was said over their life, because those were the things that was blocking them from going on in their life, the unforgiveness. So I said, once you burn this, it's over. We're not going to bury it. We're going to burn it. Here comes this 80-year-old woman. They had to help her to the can. And as she's approaching me, I'm about to pass out because I'm thinking, this woman is 80 and she never got healed. She never had the tools or the people. And I'm talking about Christians. Nobody saw the pain. And so, but when she threw those things in the fire, this little old lady just began to worship God, like something just snapped off of her. To see the healing process and to see people get forgiveness before they die. But forgiveness, keep talking.
Even with that, with all you just said, with putting the past hurts and people that hurt them in the fire. And we know people that will betray us, and life just happens.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to self-forgiveness, because how much of yourself did you give that you shouldn't have?
Well, we could have a long talk about that. I mean, so again, you have to come back. If you're not willing to own up to it, Pache, if you're not willing to own up to what you played, then you're gonna play the finger.
You keep saying this, that person. Okay, but how much of yourself did you give to allow this to happen? Because
those of you that are in the chats, please talk to us. Put some comments in the chat. This is not a one-way street here. Please talk to us. We want to hear what you feel about what we're talking about. If you've gone through this, just put something in the chats. Thank you for being here.
Because a lot of times we think we can change a person. Like Grandma told you, I'm just going to love her.
Right.
If I keep doing this, that person will change.
Yeah.
But when somebody shows you who they are, you believe them.
Absolutely.
You don't have, because 9 times out of 10, that person doesn't love themselves enough. And part of the unforgiveness is, like I said, recognizing what the person has or what the person does not have. Because the person can't give you what they don't have. Well,
if someone, okay, what you just said was a jewel, right? So even something that's simple, a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. Because the expectation we have from other people, expectation low, acceptance high. When you expect from people, right, you have to guard your heart. You only expect from God. You expect from the higher power, right? But expectation low, acceptance high, because expectation causes me to do what you just said. I want you to love me the way I need you to love me. You said you were going to. How could you do this to me? I expected more from you. No, because if they're showing you who they are and you're totally blinded by what you want, the person can't give it to you. I always say yet. I always put a yet when I'm talking about people, because anybody can grow and change.
Absolutely. And even to the point where you're saying, as far as being a mother, we wear so many different hats.
Yes.
We get buried. Even within that, we have to forgive ourselves for that, for putting everybody else above us and in front of us. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't take care of ourselves, we're no good to nobody.
That's true.
We're no good to anyone.
I've gone through a whole series of guilt that you know nothing about, right? Because like you said, you know, there were times we had breaks. Praise God that, you know, we are good. But there were times, and Marcia, there she is, Minister Marcia, there she goes. She knows about she knows about some of this stuff. And the times that I felt as a failure as a mother. You said a little while ago, I was 17 and with 2 little girls and a widow. All of a sudden, you went through guilt thinking that had I not gone in the hospital that day, your dad would have been alive. I went through guilt saying if I had not went into labor, he would be alive. Had I not gone in labor, he would have never had to take me to the hospital and try to get back to the hospital, because it was on his way back is when the guy killed him. Right? So now, as fast forward to being a mother, and then how I was adapting to it because I didn't have no counseling. PTSD sets in immediately. You don't know nothing about that till years later. Traumatic, those, you know, the anxiety, right? The levels of PTSD. You're a coach, you know about those layers. You got psychology, you know, degrees. You know what I'm saying. So my guilt ate away at me to the point where I was a runner. I was a runner because I didn't know how to do what I needed to do. And a lot of times your grandmother wouldn't let me learn because she just jumped right in and took over. So that means I didn't know. Of course, she was helping me. Mm-hmm. Again, the love. No, she don't need counseling. I'm a lover. She all right. But then when my behavior switched, she began to get angry with me. And so, yes, Marcia. Yes, let's put this comment up. The weight of guilt.
Yeah.
It was weighing me down so much that I was self-destructing. But of course, my kids didn't know it because the mother, I was supposed to be everything to you guys. But I was 17. And so it took years and years and years for me to sit in it by myself to get that guilt and unforgiveness, because I was angry at your dad. How could you leave me? Look at it from a woman's perspective. How are you going to give me 2 babies and marry me and die? How are you going to do that? All I know is you. So guilt, then that turns into unforgiveness. The unforgiveness. Come on, Marcia. Mask in place. Woo! Girl, that'll preach. That is another look. We got a t-shirt business right here on this broadcast. Mask in place. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
It will literally kill you on the inside if you don't forgive.
It eats at you and eats at you. So no way. So what you're saying is somebody don't really have to do something to you for you to destroy yourself.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's up to you. Like I said, everyone has the power to change their narrative.
Yeah.
It's really up to the individual to say, I want to stop living like this.
Right.
And seek out the proper help and get the proper tools to help them navigate and get through that stage of unforgiveness.
But how many women don't have that? How many women don't have the know-how to even, first of all, let's talk about trust. Because in order for you to expose your emotions, because remember, mask in place. You don't really know what I am on the inside because I look good. Yeah. I look good. I got on the pulse. I'm good. Who's looking deeper? That's why I say all the time, you know, like being a coach or being a singer, that's what I do. That's not who I am. When people be like, oh yeah, I know her. No, you don't.
No, you don't. I just had
this. How much time you spent with me? You don't know me.
Had this conversation yesterday that it not trips me out. I just find it funny that you find friends you had in your teenage years and in your youth, and you haven't spent any time with them at say 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I know her. No, you don't know me.
You knew me.
You knew me. I didn't even know who the heck I was. So how you know me? I'm just saying. I didn't know who I was. So how you know me?
I hear you.
And I'm still getting to know me.
Yes, yes. But so many women, that's so good. You're right. That, because, oh man, this is deep. Because it's so many women. Because this is a woman's platform, right? And we got to be transparent. That's why I like this to be a chat, a conversation, not me coming on here just talking and teaching and preaching. No, let's get into it. Let's get into it, because one comment can help another person that's on here. You may not even know everybody on this live, right? But just one comment, and I knew a version of me. Right. See, this one here, Marcia said, you knew a version of me. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. And I get what you're saying about trust and honesty. I can only speak from me. Yeah. To learn to be the most authentic me as I can be. I learned the truth of the matter is everybody's not going to be for me. Everybody's not going to like me.
That's good. That's healthy.
But also what I learned by me being transparent and telling my story and telling my history, where I come from, I'm able to stand in it and share in the hopes that it will help somebody else.
Yes.
That's how healing begins. Take the mask off.
Yes. Take the mask. You see that right there. Mask in place. That's women. And you're right, because women take the mask off, but women, as your trust, but check out how the trust segues into the unforgiveness, breaks down the trust. Yeah. So all the time you're not forgiving and you're carrying on and you're moving on in your life and years pass, the forgiveness, lack of forgiveness or not able to forgive actually crosses over the line and it becomes the trust. So I don't trust you because you did something bad to me and now I don't forgive you. Well, so now we got two layers of two major spirits and two layers of two emotional strongholds that you got to segue through. But sometimes people don't want to go back into the pain to fix it. They rather, and when you get comfortable in that thing, you can live for years like that and it becomes your comfort zone. What did you say earlier? About living in
they made unforgiveness their house, their home.
They made unforgiveness their home.
So literally when you go in your house, you're walking into unforgiveness. You don't even see the beauty that you did in your place.
What did Marcia say? I just learned that my hyper independence might be a trauma response. Imagine that. Whoa.
Right. So
whoa, let's see what Kathy, we got some folks here. Okay. Let's see, this is a chat. Kathy says, broken heart and broken words heard by one is hard to put the puzzle pieces back together. So it's one piece of forgiveness at a time. Okay.
Absolutely. And even within that, even when you trust somebody and you give yourself over and they break that trust, you have to know that if you went in being the best version of you and you did things from your heart, I've learned for me to let it rest on that other person.
Say that again.
I did the best I could.
Okay.
I was your friend. I bought you food.
That's healthy.
I supported you. But when now, at this stage of my life, if you turn around and you stab me in the back, or you go and you talk about me, or you just you put something out there that I shared with you in confidence, guess what? That's you. That's not on me.
Right. That's growth.
That's why I said now.
I heard the now in capital letters.
That's on you.
No, I mean, you have grown. Listen, when I invited you on the platform and I asked you what you want to talk about, when you said forgiveness, girl, I was in here. All I needed was a Hammond B3. Donna. That's all I needed, because the breakthrough, not for me so much. I mean, I'm a partaker of it, but for you to get to this place, because we didn't even talk about how you followed in your mother's footsteps without knowing how when your dad was murdered years later, the guy you were going to marry got killed.
Murdered.
And guess who preached his funeral? Wow.
And I went through that same thing.
You went through, that was a road for you.
Oh, that was 3 years and about 2 steps away from AA.
You had to walk it out in shoe leather, girl.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Life happens. So
in that period of your time, I was afraid for you because you were angry. You didn't want to forgive. You couldn't understand. And I was so afraid for you. But then something happened. Mm-hmm. What happened?
All I have was capital God.
There you go.
You know, when it happened, it just was a
release. Huh? Say that again.
I can tell you. Okay, part of the reason was I used to dream about him all the time, and I mean, it was just as real like you and I talking. In this last dream, we were riding around, and I was like, "Let me go upstairs and use the bathroom." And he was like, no. So we had this big argument. I'm like, you're so impatient. You are so impatient. I'm going upstairs to use the bathroom. So I get out of the car, go use the bathroom, came back downstairs. And I get downstairs and I'm like, yo, this dude left. He really left me. And I kid you not, clear as day. He said, you can't come with me.
Wow.
You can't come with me.
Like, get it together.
And that was God saying, not your time. And that was the click.
Wow.
And then from there, I got the house and everything. I went to a seminar for a house, never even thought about buying a house or being a homeowner.
Because unforgiveness and pain was no longer your house, your address.
Yeah. And everything just opened and I just...
There's other people on this live right now who's going through losing their loved ones, their men and children's father. People on this live that understands that part of this pain that we're talking about. Yeah.
Even like you, I had to learn to forgive him. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And then even within that, down the line, not even so much down the line.
God bless you, Ivy. Ivy's here.
Hey, Ivy. After the funeral, I started hearing all these rumors about messing with different girls, and it was so much at one time.
Wow.
But my friends was blocking. I didn't know all that was going on until after. So it's like 2 years of this, then I hear this, then I hear that. It was just a lot. So even within that, I had to learn to forgive him, even in death.
That's why I brought that up. The forgiveness, see, now the layer. Now we went through so far, maybe around 10 layers of unforgiveness in terms of titles, right? The unforgiveness that we trap ourselves with, that someone else didn't even do to us. It's because we failed ourselves, right? And women, when we fail ourselves, it's a guilt thing. It's, oh, I did it again. Oh my God, I'm nothing.
Put a pin in it right there.
Go ahead.
So, if we can fail ourselves and we feel guilty, how do we put expectations on other people when we can't even hold up to our own expectations? What do you do with that?
You got to get to that place, though.
Right. Absolutely.
Marcia says happened twice. So I didn't want to expose her. I wanted her to mention it. Marcia had two of her loves to die on her.
Wow.
Two. The last one being, I knew him. He was a musician. He was an incredible. I love him. And his little daughter you should see her.
Wow.
She's a little him. And so, yeah, she's walked through this thing.
And that's what I often tell people, even in grief, there's no proper way to grieve. You have to let the person go through what they go through. There's no manual to say, okay, if I'm grieving and I just lost somebody, I'm supposed to be crying all day in the room. For me, my escape was going out. I don't even go out.
Right. Well, that's what happened to me when your father died. Right. That was my escape, because staying home, I was so depressed. I was afraid to be alone. So here goes that thing that happens when life happens. Kelly from My Vivid Life. Oh my God. It's so much on here. It's so much to talk about. It's so much to understand that we walk through the unforgiveness and how do you get to forgiveness and the layers that we're talking about. It's not an easy walk. And you said the tools. If you don't have the tools, you don't have the resources, you don't have the tribe, you don't have safety net people to talk to, because that's key with women, because we are very, first of all, if I share something with you, and it's because I think it's a privilege when anybody, it could be a stranger on the street, share something dear to their heart with you. I think it's a privilege for someone to share a secret about their life. I think it's a privilege when someone, and when you take that and you feel and you use that, Ivy says everybody's journey is different. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Everybody's journey is different. So the point is, how do we get to these places of what we call the forgiveness block, walking on forgiveness street?
I think one big thing we have to learn as women and just individuals, it's okay not to know everything. No one person knows everything.
Right.
So we don't have to feel ashamed about seeking help. That's why there's psychiatrists. That's why there are coaches. That's why there's counselors. That's why there's therapy. Guess what? God created all these people to help us.
Absolutely.
So we don't have to be embarrassed or ashamed of saying, I need help. Because it just could be that you're not educated in that field, or you just don't know how to navigate through these feelings, through these emotions. It's too much.
So that means we have to fight in our mind through cultural diversity, how I was raised and how it was said, oh, Black people don't go talk to nobody. You crazy if you go to a psychiatrist.
Okay, well, let me be crazy and get fixed.
But see, people got to take those false myths out of the equation of their thought pattern, right?
Mm-hmm. And being stuck in tradition.
That's a whole nother topic, Pache.
Being stuck in tradition.
Right? That's a whole nother topic. And so it's awesome that, that's why I was so happy and ecstatic that you wanted to talk about forgiveness, because like you said, you and I, was a time I was crushed when you wouldn't talk to me. My heart was in pieces. But my thought was, how could this not be affecting her? And then something inside of me said, how do you know it's not affecting her? She just shows it differently. So when I kind of just released it to the Lord, that last trip out the gate, and took my hands off of it, things started to happen. Marcia says, lacking the language to interpret what I was going through. I didn't have the words to explain. Yeah. Wow.
A lot. You don't know how to articulate that.
No.
And even now, I would say, with what you just said, that you were in pieces and it wasn't bothering me. It wasn't that it wasn't bothering me. I just couldn't let it affect me in the way to where I couldn't function.
See, okay. So see, in personality wise, that's the piece as my daughter that you have that I don't have. So, you say you bear children, this, that, and other, but they're still their own person. They have their own identity and they're wired with you with the DNA and stuff, but they have their own characteristics that the mother may not have, or you may not have. And me, earlier on, I said, when you was in a certain space and how you could say, I could walk right past you. I don't know. I didn't have to say, I would be like, where'd she get that from? That's not how I am. How can that happen? And then on the same token, you would turn around and be like, Mom, why does it matter? Why does it matter to you? But it's how you're wired. So you have to work with how God wired you and to overcome how to deal with certain situations in your life. That's a process. And so, when you said you didn't let it affect you, I didn't know how to not let it affect me. And that's what I had to learn to do, is to learn how to deal with it, because it was like I was dying. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so you knew how to cut it off at the road and said, nope, can't bring that this far.
Because that's my protection. That's how I protect myself. This happened, okay, I'm done. I cannot live here.
Yeah.
And even within that, like I say, nobody does not want to have a relationship with their mother. Nobody does not want to have an open line of communication with their mother, not knowingly or willingly. Or, I just don't think that's normal.
Right. No.
But for me, it's not that it didn't affect me. For me, it was what it was. And I'm going this way. I'm going to take care of my kid, and I'm going to keep.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that. Guess why? Because your grandmother, the one we opened up talking about, would never stood for that. So that seed that was planted in me by your grandmother, who later planted seeds in you guys, that principle that you just said would not have worked if she was alive, which you already know. That wouldn't have worked. She wouldn't have had it. She would not have had it. Anytime even Linda, me and my sister, God bless her soul, if we had a little spiff in the house, this before you guys were born, and Linda was different. Linda was moody. She was quiet. And I was still and we would clash at times. But one thing we never did was lift our hands to each other.
Well, you could do that.
Or no, we still don't do. We don't do that in this family. But I'm saying my point is, get it together.
Yeah, we got that speech. We got that speech too.
Of course. So that's why saying wouldn't work for me, because that would mean that I would everything she taught me would be not. It would be nothing, and her life could not be that. So I had to keep that emotion to get to the place of forgiveness, and had to walk through. I couldn't turn off like you, because God forbid I turned off like you turned off, I don't think we'd be here right now. Maybe not yet.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I got my daddy's blood in me too.
Oh, well, see, that's a whole nother cuckoo case. No more.
Yeah. No.
You do have I forgot about the DNA. I forgot about him. Kathy says yes. And I have, what'd she say?
I have a pony.
I have a pony. You don't have to have a horse.
Stop competing with each other.
Women do that. See, one thing I can say, we've never competed in this family. Our issue has never been, I'm better than you. You don't have this. I have. We've never had. Again, that's a Dee trait. She don't play that. Say that again.
We all had.
Had?
We always had.
Yes. So yes, we did. We always had. We had the best of everything.
Everybody got it. It was like, I'm buying this one, and then everybody's on the outside.
No, you buy one, everybody gets.
Right.
Everything was equal.
Yeah.
And so we learned about forgiveness growing up. We learned about from the greatest. She didn't have all the jewels, but boy, did she have some great foundational pieces that have carried us through. That's why when things happen, I have to keep her alive in terms of action. What she would do. What would she say? How would she handle this? If you're having a pity party, well, how long are you going to stay there? Get up and do something about it. Things like that, which help you get to the place of forgiveness, because you said early on in this conversation about the seed that was planted.
Yeah. And it's the same way with God. God plants seeds. He puts people in our lives. It's the same when you go to church and you hear a sermon. The seed has been planted, correct? However, absolutely. If you have that relationship with God, you can backslide. You can go astray.
Oh, absolutely.
That thing gonna bring you back.
It'll bring you back.
I ain't gonna tell you how many times I backslid. So, baby,
so silly. So, baby.
But anyway,
Ivy says children will adapt to their circumstance and develop different voids. Go ahead, Nurse Ivy. We got a nurse on the line. Go ahead, Nurse Ivy. That's powerful. That's strong. That's strong. And Marcia says, every key has a lock. What you lack, she has it. No, wait. Every key. Say what?
Good.
Every key has a lock. What you lack, she has. It works. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. This is so good. And Kat is where I love this one word Kathy put up. Absolutely. That's one of her favorite words. Absolutely. I want to thank you guys for being on tonight with us. I'm so happy that you chimed in and are having this conversation. It's about a conversation. It's about a conversation. And I'm so happy that you decided to tap in with us tonight. We are having a good time. And I just want to say to you, I just got to stop and give you a bravo. I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I got to give you a bravo. Oh yeah, I got to give you a bravo. Yes, yes, and yes. So everybody just take that right hand and that left hand and place it on your heart, your mind, your soul, wherever you need encouragement, and just give yourself a bravo. And guess what? Just because. And guess what? You don't need permission. You just don't need permission. You have to learn to encourage yourself. Let's jump back into it before we tie it up. Coco, I told you there is no time limit on here. Once the conversation is going, it's going. And I think this is a wonderful, 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 wonderful topic to talk about forgiveness, because it is definitely not easy to forgive when you have been done wrong. Listen, let's talk about relationships for a minute with men. Men can bruise women. Don't let your eyes going up there now, girl. Yeah, that's where they need to go. Because listen, women, we need to talk about this. We let men damage us to the point that they take so much from our lives. They take so much time from our lives because, number one, maybe we thought he was the one. Maybe, we've been in it a few years. Whatever the case, as the case may be, whatever it may be or was, if it worked out where it was a betrayal or it was abusive, if it was, I thought I knew him. There goes that word again. I expected him. You cannot expect from people. Expectation low, acceptance high. Guard your heart. You cannot expect from people. People will fail you. They'll break your heart into pieces. And so with relationships, a lot of times women don't recover and they go into the next relationship with a whole 5-piece luggage set. Now, listen, you can bring a little cosmetic bag, all right? But you can't come in there with no 5-piece. You got to do the work on yourself. And we cannot allow men, and this is not bashing men, this is women we talking with, to take so much from us that we feel like, well, that's it. And again, now you don't forgive yourself. Here we go. Because you saw the red sign, you saw the flag, you saw 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 red flags, and you still said, I'm moving forward with this dude. No. And you did it. And you knew that it wasn't good, and you hung in there. And guess what happened? The red flag was honest. But because of your needs and your wants and your desire, you still dealt with it. And he winds up taking from you instead of putting in you. He is like a bank account. He didn't make a deposit. He did a withdrawal. What happens to so many women who, now here's another layer of unforgiveness, right? What happens? What do we have to do as a community of women to help our sisters get from that place of feeling guilty for what they knew they shouldn't have dealt with, but they still did it anyway?
That's what I was speaking to earlier when we was talking about the women.
Talk to me in the chat.
When we was talking about the different hats. And yes. Remember, I alluded to, it goes back to forgiving yourself for allowing that person to take advantage of you, forgiving yourself. How much of yourself did you give, knowing you shouldn't have gave it?
Okay.
In the hopes of it would change the outcome.
Oh.
So you still have to forgive yourself. And it goes back to knowing who you are. That is key. You have to know who you are.
But the only way you know who you are, Pache, is to do the work.
Right. No, so that's what I'm saying. It factors in with everything we were saying. Is, like I said, seek help. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. And that's good what you're saying. Put yourself out there. Why did I still go forward? Why did I choose that? For me, I learned I had to seek answers, right? And I had to face myself. We have to get to a point where we get courage, because you need courage to face yourself. Because you know what Marcia said about the mask? Where's that comment? What Marcia said about the mask? That mask, that comment right there is the comment. Where's the mask comment? Marcia, put it back in the chat. Find it, put it back in there. Here it is. Here it is. She said, mask in place. Women, the mask is in place. In today's society, between all the other things we put in place to kind of make it appear that we're something that we're not, right? And in the inside, we're shallow. We're shallow. And so people don't like to face themselves. They like the strengths. They don't like the weaknesses. right?
Well,
Because when you face, Michael Jackson hit it, Man in the Mirror.
There's no change. And it goes back to you have to find the courage.
You have to go to courage to face yourself. And when I faced myself, and I went to counseling, and he asked me, maybe might have been section 5. He says, tell me about your father. I was like, okay. So I told him that my father was a great man, a wonderful man, but he had a mistress called alcohol. Great man. Just like all of us have we're all flawed people. And so he now sees the picture of the men I'm choosing is like my dad. I had to be the savior to save, because remember, all hell used to break loose in our house at certain points. And I was the one to save everything. So as a little girl, I became the savior. So I started choosing men to help them. I can help you. Wait, no, oh, wait, I got a job. Oh, no, my friend got a job for you. Oh, that wasn't my job. He says, you married your father. He says, you have a codependent spirit. I'm codependent. Now, codependency is a realm. You're a coach and you got a degree in psychology. That's a big topic. But I had to seek to get some answers because I had it all together. My mask was on. I had it going on. I didn't need a man in my bed. I had the checklist. And what bothered me most was I couldn't put a finger on what was wrong with me. But it was a need to help. And that was destroying me. So I had to now forgive myself because I now found the answer. Had I not gone to that session, I would be still seeking this day. That one little piece that was throwing my whole life cycle off. Mm-hmm. So that was facing myself. Yeah, right. Sheila Ingram. Everyone, you got to get away from, turn the voices off. Don't let people pump you up and no. Who are you?
Because at the end of the day, you have to sit with you. You live with you.
Who don't.
You go with you around.
Yeah, but as long as you can mask, Coco, it's a good little ride.
Oh, yeah, but you still feel it. You can mask all you want, but
that's okay. People live in misery until they're old. I told you about the lady, a friend that's 60-something years old to this day, and she stuck back from 40 years ago what somebody did to her, and she hasn't moved, and her whole life has passed her by. Because she won't face herself. Yeah. How did I play the part in this?
Right, and it goes back to everything that we were talking about with knowing who you are, self-awareness, seeking help. Don't be ashamed to say, I need help in this area.
Yes.
No one person walking this earth has all the tools to life.
Yeah, life that's good. Happens. Accountability partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Life happens to everybody.
Yeah.
No one is exempt from this thing.
Yes.
If Jesus had to pray 3 times and ask the Lord to pass the cup.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to do?
Yep. Ivy says people can even fool themselves. That's the problem.
That's the mask.
That's the mask.
And get comfortable with it.
Kathy says that was a real and serious testimony. Hands up to you. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
This is life. And that's the key. You got to get real with yourself, no matter how bad you are.
Here go Ivy. Ivy, where you learn that from? Sit in it. I'm going to ask you. Let me keep moving. Marcia says, Miss Fix It. That was me. And guess what? Codependency is like a drug, like you shoot dope or something, like you smoke crack. Codependency does not go away. That's why when the red signal, when I feel myself going over here, getting ready to help to the degree I shouldn't, the light goes beep, 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 beep. I smack myself. Boom, girl, you better get back over there.
Yep.
Ain't nothing but trouble over there. You can't fix that.
Yep.
Codependency, again, once I learned to forgive myself.
See, you learned that. You sought help. You had a therapist. You went, you sat down. That's why
I learned about it because I couldn't fix me. I couldn't find the one. Listen, I was begging God to show me. If I just want a man, then okay, I'll face it. Or if I just need 2 men, I'll face it. I had a checklist. Everything was, nope, you don't need a man. You used to be a man yourself. You know, took care of you. You're solo. That you don't need this. You don't need that. What's left on the list? I couldn't figure it out. But when I sought help, when he told me that thing, I got set free immediately. I said, oh, that's it. Everything changed for me.
And here's the thing, it's nothing wrong with being codependent. It's the way that you wired. That's the way God wired you. But now you know what it is. You can put a finger on it.
I can
identify what that thing is.
Okay, but here's something deeper than that. When you're a Christian, when you're a believer, when you're a woman of God, God says to love everybody, agape love, right? Love never fails. So when you're dealing with relationships and you're a believer as a woman, because God said, love everyone, love your brother, have the mercy gift, all those wonderful things that we're supposed to do. And you have the codependent spirit or codependent, whatever going on. You don't know where to stop and where to go because God said love. God said fix. God says help. So you gotta find the middle. You gotta find.
Absolutely. That's why he gave you a discerning spirit.
But it's different. It's different when you don't know nothing about discernment. It's different when you just you and you're a giver and a fixer, right?
So we're talking about you putting your finger on it.
Yes. Know what I'm saying? Prior to the figuring it out. Prior to that, as a believer, I was the helper, the doer, even in ministry. Could you come sing? Yes. Had a sore throat. I'll still come. Can you do such and such? And one day he said to me in a session, let me ask you something. You said you didn't feel well and someone asked you to come sing at a church and you really didn't feel good at all. And you went, right? I was like, yeah, because they, I didn't want to let them down. And I promised them that I would show up. He said, but you were sick, right? I said, yeah, I wasn't feeling good. He said, so let me ask you something. So if you didn't show up, you telling me Jesus wouldn't have showed up for his people? What a smack. Boom. What a blow. I was like, my mouth was like, I had to go. I was like, oh, I got delivered once again on the spot. That's when I learned the power of saying no.
With a period.
With a period. And I just did a message on that 2 weeks ago on my channel. The power of saying no. Anything. That's why I tell people I can't take you where I haven't been. Everything I say is because I walked it through I walked it out in shoe leather. So yes, I had to face myself and still every day because we don't arrive.
Right. That's why I said it's an ongoing journey.
Because you're still working on you, aren't you?
Absolutely. Even when you came to visit, you visited and I was going to church Sunday, but you was tired because you came from LA and I want to go to a church with you. I said, lay down. What's going to happen? But you're tired. I'll be fine. Stay in the bed.
Good point. Because guess what happened? That thing, because it don't go away. It rises up. And you checked me. I said, no, I promised. And I was dead tired. We had drove to Charlotte, had come from California. I was tired, but I promised to go to church with you. And I said, no, you said, where you going? I said, you said you could barely move. I said, no, I just got to get in the shower. You said to me, you stopped at the door. You turned around and looked at me. I said, well, you said, why? Why you got to go? I said, because I told you I would. You said, so you tired, right? I was like, yeah. You said, I see you when I get back. And when I put my head on the pillow, I said, she checked me because that codependency to not people please, but not let you down, to not the mother thing. Mm-hmm. The mother thing popped up. So yeah, you're right. So that's why even women that have codependency, and most women have a tinge of it, one of the things that can offset codependency, because people ask me all the time, well, how do you get delivered from codependency and how do I not choose the same type of men? Well, women that have a codependent spirit have to find or be involved with men who don't need them. Because if I get with somebody and they're needy, guess what happens? I click on. I turn the light go on. So if I date someone who's not needy, who's strong, who knows who he is, who might tell me, Sheila, sit down, which probably would be, I'll be like, what? Because but that's what you need. You need somebody who's strong, who know they are who they are, and they don't need you to do anything to get them to be who they are. But when you're needy, boy, that thing pop on me.
Because the thing with that is, what is the relationship built on?
Not just, it doesn't corrupt the relationship. It just it becomes flawed.
Right. In your sense of worth. Because if you can't do and you're not hands-on with that need, there's a void in you.
That's why the only thing that can correct it is a man who doesn't need. It would be different for women who are used to doers. Right? There's a difference between doing and being a people pleaser, right? I'm not a people pleaser. I'm just a helper. And women are born to be Eve. What does her name mean? The giver of life, our first mother. And she was what? The first mother, the giver. She was the nurturer. We're nurturers. So women by nature are nurturers, but we get in trouble and doing certain things to feed our so-called need. And then we wind up in a place where we have to wind up trying to forgive somebody and forgive ourselves.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It says, good job, daughter. Hold that thing accountable.
Yeah, Marcia, I tell her sometimes, just sit down.
Who? What?
I said, Marcia, yes, sometimes I just have to tell her, sit down. Why? All right. It's going to be all right.
She even knows a little bit about me with that. She was, when we were talking earlier about prayer warriors and women and trainings and stuff, she was under me in some training, and she's an incredible minister. Marcia said, fuels that spirit. And then Marcia says, what a humbling statement. Then she says, whew, I'm depleted.
Yeah, we've been on about an hour and a half.
She ain't talking about like, she just saying this is heavy. She's not talking about the time. She not talking, what is this? Who's this? We always trying to save the day because we're nurturers.
We need to save ourselves first.
Oh,
what they tell you in the plane.
Somebody write that in the chat. We need to save ourselves first. Somebody write that in the chat right now.
When you get on the flight, what do they teach you? How to save yourself first, right?
Sure do. Sure do.
They teach you to save yourself first.
Yes. We're always trying to save the day, she say. Yes.
And that becomes tiring.
Yeah, it does.
It becomes exhausting.
Yes.
Especially when you have nothing else to give. Oh,
who wrote this? I missed this comment. Yona says, sometimes we get so lost in a relationship, we lose who we are. Oh, we could park right there. Yeah.
Very true.
We could park right there.
Because we have made the relationship our entire lives, the kids, our entire lives, and we don't get back to, okay, who am I? What is it that I like to do?
So does that create an unforgiveness? Do you think that is
absolutely?
Yeah.
That's what I alluded to earlier, with all the different hats, and we do all these different things, and we've given so much of ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to step back and say, okay, what part did I play in this?
Now
I forgive myself, because guess what? If you keep giving and giving, who don't like free stuff?
No, you stupid.
I'm just saying. That could be a free meal. Right. Don't have to cook.
What do you mean? Who don't like free stuff?
And especially when you put the mask on, like, it's okay. It doesn't bother me.
No.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Going to keep taking, but on the inside, like, I really don't feel like cooking for this nigga.
No, wait, Coco. Coco.
What?
You know, this is one of those moments, certain times when you say things, when I wish you had the opportunity to know your dad, because he was a clown and he say one-liners like you. Like, he used to have people crying, laughing, like you don't even know. You don't even know how funny you are sometimes. Which was like,
I don't. I'll be serious and y'all be laughing at me, and I'm like, what's funny?
Who don't want free stuff? She said. Well, let me see what Ivy said about you. Coco, you always using that plain analogy.
It's the truth. Well, don't put it on it. Don't pay attention and let the plane go down.
Here goes the comment. I told you guys to put, no, where is it? Marcia wrote it. Who did I tell to say that?
What? Who don't like free stuff?
No, see, that was, yeah, exactly, Ivy. Exactly. Oh my goodness, the girl crazy, I tell you. Let's see, Marcia said, I felt like an outline that wasn't I allowed my partner to fill up the spaces. Then he was gone. Oh, and I was without my identity.
Jesus.
We do it all the time, us women.
Getting lost, the different hats. And
that's
then
we're so powerful.
Goes back to what Marcia said, even within that statement, losing her identity, how many masks does she have to put on?
Oh my God.
Get lost inside her partner.
Oh. Like all of these things create unforgiveness.
And the bottom line is you have to go back to forgive yourself. You
have to go back to forgive yourself, ladies.
You have
to go back because it's in the rear view mirror. It's in the past. Wow. This is crazy.
Better for yourself.
You got to sit in it.
And don't get so caught up in what you did and I did. We all did stuff. We're going to do stuff today or maybe tomorrow. And guess what? That's going to be history as well.
Exactly.
However, go on. Right. This too shall pass. It's like I told my daughter, we're going to make mistakes until we leave this earth. You can't the mistakes. Identify who you are.
Yeah, because unforgiveness will rob you of pieces of your dream.
Just laughter, just peace of mind.
Yeah. But you know what? It comes from so many angles in life. And like you said, if you don't know how to manage or navigate or don't have a tribe or don't have a support system, you can easily be a woman on a ship by yourself, especially if your temperament has a lot to do with how you respond to people. If you're introvert, you're prone to be more alone. Right? If you're extrovert, you're prone to really go seeking help. So it has to do with getting to know yourself again. There's so many women in the church. I'm that out of the box girl in the church. And so many times I've seen women and know of women, young girls, middle-aged, whatever, who looking for a mate, and the church said, oh, you're going to marry them. You're going to marry you just because you're dating for 2 seconds. The church want to put that pressure on you. They wind up marrying the person because they didn't know how to say no. And they wind up going through that. And then they wind up getting divorced a year or two down the line. And then they get persecuted by the church. But they listened to the church and got married because they say believers, women don't date to date. We date to marry. But that doesn't mean if I start dating you, that means you're going to, I wish you'll think you could be my husband. If it's a red flag and you say no, and you start dating someone else, that's a different kind of unforgiveness. So those women feel so guilty. They feel guilty that they didn't say no. They feel guilty that they let the church pressure them. And they feel guilty now because they're still in the church and it's chatter about them in their life. Don't like it. I don't like it.
And no is so empowering. That no is like, oh, did I just, okay.
No. Ooh, when you learn how to say no.
The power of it.
The power of saying no. You could go back. Those of you who didn't see that, I spoke about that 2 weeks ago. Marcia, I'm about to post that last one on Facebook and Instagram. You go ahead, Marcia. Yes. The power of saying no. So Miss Pache Felton, Miss Coach, are you coaching presently? Are you, can people reach out to you, or are you on vacation, or what's happening with you?
I mean, they can reach out to me at My Insight Coaching via email.
I don't have any moderators yet, so I have to type things myself. What is it again?
MyInsightCoaching.org. There's a slot in there. You can make appointments, also leave a message.
My Insight Coaching or Coach?
Coaching.org.
.org. That is for Pache's. This is Coach Pache.
And My Insight Coaching.
1 second, I'm typing. I told you I don't have a moderator.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll get a God gonna send the moderators as I continue to grow.
Okay.
Okay, so I just put that in the chat. Okay, now what else you want me to put in the chat?
The email, myinsightcoaching@gmail.
My website, coaching. Am I spelling this right? COA.
Well, the information is still up on the website. So either way.
Insight coaching dot what?
At Gmail.
At Gmail. Okay.
And you can connect via.
I wanted to put it in the chat.
Okay.
Those that are here might know someone who, hope I spelled that right. If I didn't, somebody will correct me. So this has been so good. So let's tie it up on the forgiveness. You ended with what's in your heart. If you didn't already talk about something, touch on something you wanted to, just do it now. You're not rushing you. Just go ahead and elaborate. I want you to have the floor.
I just wanted to elaborate on the key points that we talked about.
Okay.
With respects to forgiveness, and first taking that heart look in the mirror and seeing where you need to do the work at. Don't be ashamed to seek out help if you don't have the tools.
Yeah.
Do not make unforgiveness your home.
Don't make unforgiveness your home.
It will literally eat at you, and your whole life will pass you by.
Wow.
Just be the best version of you. That's all you can be. Like I said, everybody's not going to be for you, and that's fine. That's okay. But whoever's assigned to you will be for you.
Yeah. That's good.
That's just life. So I just want to stress, if you don't have the tools, it's okay to say, I don't know, but don't live in silence and suffer because of unforgiveness.
Yes.
Life is way too short.
Yes, it is.
Life is way too short. So we have to live it and live it to the best of our abilities. Learn what we can learn, seek the tools. That can be coaching, a therapist, whatever that means, a sister circle, whatever that looks like to you, because everybody's need is different.
Yes.
I would just encourage you to seek that out.
And reach out to you if someone needs a little push.
Right.
And, I want to say I am so, Marcia said, feel free. It's my mission statement. Powerful. Two small words, but powerful words.
Yeah. And I say, be the best you. You can't be anybody else, but you can't be the best you if you're walking around with unforgiveness. Because it's eating up at you. It's taking away your peace. It's taking away your joy.
Don't let nobody take away your peace.
Right. And we didn't even touch on this. If you have children in the house, don't think they don't know.
Well, we can do a part 2. We can bring you back.
Kids learn in their environment first.
We can bring you back.
Okay.
Would that be a yes?
Yes, ma'am. The best.
Kathy said the best being of a human being. Yes.
So that's all I have to say.
No, that's a lot. And that was awesome. I mean, this was an awesome conversation. And we can bring you back. Yona's clapping. Thank you guys. Listen, you don't realize how much it means to me that you stopped by to hang out with me and Coco Pache today to talk about forgiveness. I think we can keep going on and on. I would like some of you to reach out and hit me up on my email, bravowithsheila@gmail.com, and throw some topics out that you think would be worthy for us women to come together and talk about. Also, if you feel that you'd like to be on the platform, Marcia say a part 2. Marcia say part 2. Kathy says part 2. Hey, bravo. And I want you guys to, to reach out and send me an email with some topics that you would want us to chat about, to talk about. I think that this is a good platform to really share and to talk. So I don't want it to just be, I want to speak from the heart and I want to hear your heart. So bravowithsheila@gmail.com. Send me a message. If you need prayer, send a prayer to bravowithsheila@gmail.com. Before I go, I want to, Marcia's giving thumbs up. This was so good. Thank you guys for being here with us. Please hit like. I should have said that through the broadcast. I have to remember, hit like and hit share and subscribe and ring the bell so that when I'm on, you will find out. Subscribe to the channel, hit like right now. If you haven't hit like right now, hit it right now. In these YouTube streets, that's what we have to do. We have to do the like thing. All right, I hear you, Pache. And so going forward, stay tuned for listen, go in Apple Music and download the Best of Sheila Ingram. Volume 2 is out, 16 tracks of all the stuff I've done over the years. Pache has left because her computer has died, but I think we give her a bravo for the conversation. Coming up on the 9th, we have Shonda Muse from Harlem to Hollywood. On the 10th, we got CKS Beauties. We got Miss Tina coming on. So we can talk about body sculpting and is it a myth and the pros and cons of it and how she moved from being a single parent to being an entrepreneur. You'll love her story. Absolutely love it. And then on the 11th, we got Friend in Your Pocket. She has an international platform and she wrote a book, Friends in Your Pocket. And then the week after that, we have Heaven, Tiani King in Heaven. You guys might know her from the Ellen Show, Mother and Daughter series. So listen, just keep coming back and keep sharing the content. Yes, she was great, Kathy. She was great. And I'm so happy that you guys stopped by and tuned in. The only way you make it. Thank you, Kelly from My Vivid Life. Please go to My Vivid Life and hit subscribe. She has been helping me a lot on my platform. Please go ahead to Kelly, My Vivid Life on YouTube. Let me see if I can put it on the screen so you guys can see the right title, because I always screw up. Here it is. Here's the title for Kelly. And keep coming back. I'll keep posting. I'll keep going forward in what I'm doing. And long as I get the support, if you want to sow, you can sow. You see a seed so I can keep going. This Saturday will be my first time on Kingdom Purpose TV. Starting this Saturday, I will be on Kingdom Purpose TV every Saturday at 12 noon, Bravo with Sheila. And that's another platform the Lord has opened up for me, kingdompurposetv.com, 12 o'clock on Saturdays. And so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And I just love you guys so much. Continue to support me through prayer. You can send me a Cash App. You can do whatever you need to do. You can just lift me up. Just lift me up. My Cash App is $ Sheila Patricia, or either you can do Bravo with Sheila. That's on Cash App. Whatever you need to do. I'll still be out here in these YouTube streets. I'll be in these YouTube streets trying to make a difference and try to push forward. And the only way we make it on the YouTube streets is when people subscribe, share, and hit like. That's the whole system. And so thank you. This really made my day, Come back next week. You'll see all the postings on Facebook. You'll see all the postings on YouTube. And if you hit the bell, you will get the alert when I'm on. And I will try to just send some in the text form. All of you, Kathy, see you in the morning. We do our girly thing. We're getting that massage that we need. Oh, I live for a massage. Self-care. So anyway, guys, take care. Bless you. Let's get the Bravo situation going on. Let's do the Bravo. Don't go anywhere. I will see you soon. And I love you. Remember, when nothing changes, nothing changes. When nothing changes, nothing changes. And you have to keep it moving. You must keep it moving. Don't get tired. Just keep it moving. Ciao.